Hey there, hi, welcome to the channel. I am Garrett and I have been thinking, and I know you have too, about some of the most dated interior design styles that everybody is just over. We've got things to talk about, so let's get into the video. Now, the first dated style that everybody likes to rant and rave about, and I have as well, and you all do in the comment section all of the time, I see you, is Farmhouse. Now, be sure you give me your opinion in the comment section of Farmhouse design and what you think about it. Just so we're clear, I'm not talking about an actual farmhouse. That's like the good example of this interior design style. I'm talking about faux or synthetic farmhouse, and you know what I'm talking about. As a matter of fact, let me tell you, if I was running for president, hashtag Garrett for president, my first act as president would be to make faux distressed furniture illegal. It should not have a place in your home because there is actual real distressed furniture out there that you could get that is probably cheaper and looks better. And that actually reminds me that if you like Farmhouse and you like the tones and the elements in it, I think that's great and I love that for you, but have you considered something like modern cottage style? This is great because you have a lot of those traditional undertones that Farmhouse has, you have a lot of warmth and character, and it's very curated. It feels very homey, but you still get the modern elements that Farmhouse offers, and I think that's really wonderful. It's a little bit more authentic, a little more genuine, and definitely something worth looking out for. Be sure you tell me what you think of this modern cottage style. Some of the key features that you'll see in photos of this are a lot of traditional elements, a lot of warmth, and a lot of layering, but the great part about this is you don't have to do that in your home. You can look for just some key elements to bring in to really add that warmth and character. Some of those might be actual distressed furniture. You've all seen those pieces online, and I have too, that they're really beautiful, and then when you look closer, it's like, oh, the veneer is lifting and it's a little bit rubbed, some of the finish is worn off. Those are the best pieces. You get them at great deals and they have so much character and history to them. And if you were gonna get distressed furniture or faux distressed furniture anyway, this is actually distressed furniture, and that's even better. Because remember, a real farmhouse, a true farmhouse, is gonna have work happening around it. It's probably on a farm, and that's what you do at a farmhouse. You farm things and you use it, and it gets used and worn and repaired, and over time that builds character and history. So you want to be sure you're looking out for those genuine pieces. Also, most authentic farmhouses, most cottages are not gray. So if you're thinking, I have a farmhouse style, I should paint it gray, you probably should think about that a little bit harder and incorporate some wood tones. Mix them together, do a little bit of light, a little bit of medium wood tones, and some really great dark ones. And the great thing about having a lot of that character and pieces that are actually a little bit worn is that they're actually really hard wearing, and it doesn't matter if they get bumped or knocked over or scraped up or scratched or get, rings from glasses on them, because it just is adding to the history and the character of those pieces, which makes Farmhouse so great for a lot of families and people with pets. It's fantastic if you like that style, but just make sure you're looking for some of those genuine pieces. The next interior design style that I constantly am kind of calling out and talking about, and a lot of other people are too, is mid-century. Now, mid-century is great, but not every single thing mid-century is wonderful. You often see people with mid-century homes that have an organic modern style. Have you seen someone with this type of style in their mid-century home? And I really think that's the key to making mid-century work so beautifully, because a lot of the pieces are really great, and this was an era when we still had a lot of really good quality coming out. So look for some of those authentic mid-century pieces to blend in with some newer ones. But I also want to ask you, have you thought about postmodern and Art Deco? These are some really great styles also that blend seamlessly but add so much character and vibrancy. I'm talking about really quirky, interesting, colorful pieces from the postmodern era, like cool sculptural chairs and interesting artwork, lamps with squiggly lines. These are something to consider and look out for, but also 1930s Art Deco can be really wonderful. And the interesting part about that is actually that, Art Deco was the last style before mid-century. So there's a lot of relationship there, but you have curved lines, beautiful wood tones. These pieces can layer in really great and can add an interesting flair to a mid-century styled space. So if you are in that position where you really like mid-century, you've got some great pieces and you're like, yeah, Garrett, but how do I layer these together, do not be afraid to look for that 1930s Art Deco. Some of those vintage pieces are amazing, and postmodern can be really fun to liven the place up a little bit more. All of this mixed together and layered can be really, really fun and cool and create a personal style that people will be envious of. And we're living in an era right now where if every single thing in your home is one style, especially mid-century, it creates the feeling of a time capsule and may not be conducive to how you really live today. Now, before we get into our next topic, I just want to take a moment and give a big thank you to all of you that have been commenting and liking, that have joined us here and subscribed to the channel. I just want to say how much I genuinely appreciate it, and I am glad you all are here. Now, the next style we have to talk about is that Paris chic, overly feminized style that a lot of people liked, but a lot of us don't like anymore because it's a little bit tacky. Let's just call it what it is. And this is very much like with, Paris chic, we have to have a picture of the Eiffel Tower, we have to have some faux peonies laying around, we need tufting with crystals, all of it. And don't you all think it's a little bit too much? But on the flip side of that, I can really appreciate the brightness, the lightness, the airiness that comes with the vibrance all of these really light and white-like tones bring to a space. And I think that's something to keep in mind and be on the lookout for, because we all love a pastel, and that will always be true. However, if you like this style, if you like these tones, look to bring more modern elements into the space, because all of this lightness, these pastel tones on traditional pieces, they can have a little bit of a dated feeling, and they can also have a little bit of a tacky feeling if this is not really, really high quality pieces or furniture. So if you incorporate these onto more modern pieces or look for accessories, rugs, art, throw pillows, even just a throw blanket, lamps, small accessories and ceramic goods, all of that can have a lot of fun with really great neutral pieces in the space. And it also allows you to rotate those colors through and add seasonal decor as you feel is necessary. Because at the end of the day, none of us want to have a space that feels like it's kind of too tacky and it's overdone, it's a little bit much, and that can also lead a space to feeling cheap. And I know that you all agree. So be on the lookout for some modern pieces and some of these really cool pastel and light, bright tones. And it doesn't even have to be like a pink or a green. It can be yellow, it could be blue, it could be purple or lilac. All of these are really wonderful tones. And the great part about pastels is that they actually layer together really beautifully. So you can put your own stamp and add a lot of character onto these spaces. Be on the lookout for modern style pieces and even incorporate brass and some chrome, mix that together. That also means that it's a lot easier and you have more versatility in the style of light fixture, drapery, hardware, doorknobs you choose for your space. Be on the lookout for all of these things, because this is a space that feels interesting, like it has character, like who lives here? I want to know. I want to meet this person. I want to know them. Versus if it's a little bit more in that like tacky kind of overly feminized realm, it doesn't feel like I want to know you. It feels like I know you already. I know where you shop. I know where you got it from. I don't want to know where you got it from, but I already do. And that's just not the vibe. In terms of knowing someone, there is somebody special who wants to come by and say hello. I know you can do it. Jump. Oh, good boy. That's a good boy. Here. No, you can have this one. One thing about Linus, and you all are constantly asking to get to know him better, is that if you drop a crumb, Linus will remember it for hours and hours later, and he will remember exactly where it is, and he will be doing everything he can to find it. These are glucosamine treats. He only gets 2 of them a day, and they're his absolute favorite and super special. Do you want this treat? Do you want this treat? Oh, that's good. That's a good boy. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, yes. Do you want to say hi to everybody? You want to say hi to everybody? Oh, yes. Oh, that's such a sweet boy. Okay. All right. All right. We'll let you go hunt out and search for some crumbs, okay? We have another style we have to talk about that needs to be addressed, that you all know, and I know you agree, that it can be a little bit dated and could use some elevation, and that is Tuscan and Mediterranean design. And I know that you know someone that has a Mediterranean style home. These are so popular all over across the world, even if you don't live in the Mediterranean. Now, I have tackled and addressed the Tuscan kitchen before and how to update that. I've talked about Mediterranean design a lot of times, but right now, what is so very popular, but has a timelessness to it that I want to know if you've considered before, is actually Spanish design, whether that is Spanish Revival or Spanish Colonial, whether that is Spanish Modern. Have you looked at those styles and considered them for your space? Because the really interesting part about the Mediterranean is that Spain is on the Mediterranean, so that is actually a style that is found there. Geography. And I know, before you go off in the comment section, not all of Spain has that kind of coastal region. There are some areas that are outside of that, I am aware, but the really wonderful part is there is some amazing, amazing design and culture and heritage and some really great character in Spain that you could easily incorporate to Mediterranean design. Some of those things are some really rustic wood pieces. If you're looking at Spanish Revival and Colonial styles, this is really great because it has a lot of bulkiness, character, wear, age, and that's really interesting. But you can also look into the modern realm. This is very chic, very interesting, very light. It has a coastalness to it, but a certain modern undertone that is really sophisticated. So look at getting modern upholstery pieces and whites and linens that are really great, and then juxtaposing them with some really great ornate antiques and maybe even some cool artwork or vintage tile. Layering all of that together can create a space that has a lot of personality and character, and a lot of that character are things you typically find in Mediterranean design, like knockdown texture walls and travertine floors. That's really great to incorporate and feels very natural. So be on the lookout for Spanish modern design to incorporate into a Mediterranean or Tuscan style home. I know a lot of other designers will tell you just to get rid of every Tuscan feature in your house, but that's not realistic, and it's also not necessary, because you can really update the feeling of a space with just furniture, furnishings, and the color of your walls. Before we get into this next topic, I want you to comment and let me know, what do you personally think minimalism is? Because there are so many misconceptions out there, so I want to hear from you. Now, minimalism as a style is not really a thing. Minimalism is a lifestyle that's all about not having objects and elements weighing you down, so you have a lightness, you have relaxation, and you're not worrying about things. And I can really appreciate and respect that. But minimalism has kind of turned into this interior design style that's just like ultra clean, square lines, modern everything, super not interesting stuff happening. And if you have that, I think it is interesting, so don't mind that. But ultimately, it's all about having a really, really clean space, and that works and it's good, but it can be a little bit dull and sometimes not interesting. What I would say to you is, if you really like minimalism, it's a concept, it's not a specific style. So you can take any style and make it minimalistic. Be on the lookout for that. But if you have that minimal style that is everything ultra modern and you're looking to maybe get out of that or bring some character into it, go to an art gallery and look around. Have you considered doing that? Because that's a space that is really minimal to allow people to focus on the artwork, even though the artwork isn't necessarily modern in design. You can find really amazing and cool pieces from any era of design and layer them all together in an art gallery. So look at that and get inspired by it for your home. You could get a cool antique East Lake style Victorian chair that's really great, and then juxtapose it with a super, super modern and minimalistic piece of artwork. That can be so interesting and unique in the right space. So be on the lookout for really cool and great pieces that have interesting details, because a minimal styling of a space will allow all of those details to speak the loudest, and you get a space that's full of character and incredibly interesting. Just remember, minimalism is not about getting rid of the style you have, it's about reducing the number of things you have. Well, there you have it, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure you give it a like and comment down below. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, because I want to hear from you. Subscribe if you haven't already. I also know that you know someone, they are building a modern farmhouse and it's already a little bit dated from the jump. Share this video with them, because friends help friends, and I will see you in the next one.